YouTube's good.
Cool. I'm letting everybody in. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. How's your morning going? Are we winning our morning? Put winning in the chat if we're winning our morning today. So far, so good. Very good. Very good. Twinning. Okay, very good. Yay. All right, y'all. So if you are on making me do CrossFit, send help. Oh boy. Yeah, I did a Pilates class the other day. My legs are still so sore. Like I can't even walk. Not good. But you guys, for real, if you haven't worked out in a long time, or if you haven't been getting exercise on a daily basis, y'all get some exercise, find a class, go on a long walk, do something like that, right? It's good for you. So you guys, today I wanted to so talk about appointment setting, right? Back to appointment setting. It's super important, especially right now with, it being Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? We've been talking about this a lot, making sure that we're able to get some momentum going, overcome people's objections about the holidays and things like that, right? I love on last Friday when Assad was talking about, all successful people, right? They take their finances seriously at this time of year, right? They take their finances seriously at this time of year. It's a great perspective shift for us when we're talking to people, right? Because, and us being able to say that to our clients or say that even to our old recruits, right? I have a text message that I want to send to you guys in the chat here. Oh, give me 1 second. That you guys can send out to your recruits that maybe kind of fell off, maybe didn't maybe they just haven't been super active. Maybe they got licensed, maybe they didn't, etc. But you can use this and send it out to those recruits. Here you go. Let's see. And it kind of, there you go, I put it in the chat. And it kind of just gives them, it's basically saying that, you're giving them the courtesy of reaching out and offering your assistance financially because they were once a part of your team or because they still are a part of your team, right? But maybe they just haven't been, super active. So basically it just says, hi, hi, Dan, I hope you're doing well.
Did she freeze for everybody else?
All right, that's Cash. Okay.
Nice. It's frozen. My hat's crooked.
I was about to ask that too. She's frozen for me also.
Well, I can start talking what I was going to talk about for full timers if you guys want me to. We're just not quite home. I'll be home in 5 minutes. What do you guys think? Yes?
She just disappeared, so.
Cool. Awesome. Well, sweet. Hey, so what I was going to talk about, I have notes at my house, but what I was going to talk about was mental toughness. And just that we've talked a lot about the the bounce back factor, right? Everybody type bounce back in the Zoom chat unless you're driving. I was going to talk about the bounce back factor and just some practical things that you can do to set yourself up to bounce back. Because just like everything else in our business, the more recruiting that you do, the more quitting you're going to have, right? If you write 100 policies and 20 of them fall off, that's an 80% quote unquote QBI if that's a square number, which it's not. There's other factors. But if you write 10, you only have 2 fall off, right? So with more volume, the appearance of more negativity is there, right? So when you're working, and Cass, I see you. Give me 1 second to finish this thought, and then I'll kick it back over to you. But what I want to, and I'll talk more about this when I talk. But when you have higher volume of good, inevitably you're going to have higher volume of bad as well. And you can have every metric and every safeguard in place to mitigate that and to minimize that. But we were talking about this at our small group last night. Like our world just inevitably just kind of like navigates towards or gravitates towards like evil or chaos. Like that is nature wants to run the world, right? And so essentially, like, we have to just continue to press our own like life and our good thoughts, our good successful patterns into what we're trying to do. And so as you're producing more, you need to continue to press into that. I'll talk more about that when it's my time. So Cass, welcome back. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry guys. My Zoom decided to quit. Anyway, so I put the other script in the chat for you guys. So there's 2 of them. This one that I just sent you guys is a text message that you can send out to recruits that have fallen off a little bit, that maybe aren't super active, etc. So it says, "Hi, Leah, I wanted to take a moment to reconnect with you. As someone who's been a part of our team, whether you're active now or have stepped back, I believe in extending the same courtesy to all of our teammates. That's why I'm reaching out during this busy season. This time of year, successful people take steps to get their finances in order so they can start the new year strong. As one of our teammates, I want to offer you my personal assistance to help you revisit your goals, get a fresh perspective, or make progress towards financial confidence. My calendar is filling up quickly, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to schedule time with me before things are fully booked. Would a quick 15-20 minute chat or 20-minute call work for you? Let me know what day and time is best, and I'll do my best to make it happen. Let's make sure you're set up for success heading into the new year. Looking forward to hearing from you." So you could send this out to literally everybody that you've ever recruited, right? And then call them too, right? So send this text out to everybody, and then maybe a few minutes later, just start calling through that list, right? Or maybe a couple hours later, you start calling as well, right? And some people will probably respond, and then you can start calling through them. And then the other one, you guys, is that is a 3-way text that you can use, and then you can also have your team use and put yourself in a 3-way message with them. So I would suggest giving this to your teammates and having them text this out to all of their 1 to 2 point macho scale people in their contacts. Okay. And it says, again, it's just, "I hope you're doing well. The financial firm I'm getting licensed with is currently expanding rapidly, especially during the holiday season. This is one of their busiest times, so many people are looking to make extra income or organize their finances before the new year. They're looking for motivated, hardworking individuals. And I thought of you. Are you open to exploring opportunities to earn extra income? If so, I've added my trainer, or even better, I've added my district leader, or I've added my regional vice president, or whatever the case might be, right? Here to share more details and answer any questions, right? I've used something similar to this in quite a few 3-way group chat texts, and almost every single time they're like, "Yeah, I want to learn more," right? And this is the whole idea of like that third party system, right? So instead of this coming off as like, "Oh, my friend's trying to recruit me into their business," it's more of a, "Hey, they're looking for people. They asked, like, if you're interested." It's just like a connecting thing, right? And I think it takes maybe a little bit of pressure off too, right? It's not pushy. It's just a super soft, "Hey, this is what they're looking for. I thought of you. Here you go. If you want to, get any more information," right? And then you as the trainer or whoever is the third person in that, the trainer, the RVP, whomever, they'll just start running the Facebook play at that point. "Yeah, I'm interested. Oh, sweet. So blah, blah, blah." And then literally the Facebook play right after that, right? Now, the other thing that, and I don't know how many people here, or if anybody here has this set up, I'm sure Dan and Jerome both have something like this set up, but it made me think, maybe something to look at. Don't go and spend a ton of time on this or anything like that. But maybe take a few minutes out of each day, or maybe take it, an hour, a couple hours out of your week, and start to think about this and getting this down. But it made me think, okay, so we have Acuity, or y'all might have Calendly, right? And I went and I downloaded all the contacts from my Acuity, right? And I don't know how Calendly works, if you can do that, or if Calendly will kind of show you what the contacts were, like what kind of appointment you had, or if you can go in there and put any information in, like, oh, they didn't show, or this or that, or whatever the case might be. But I was like, thinking about this text message, and I just in my head was like, how cool would it be if I just already had a list of every single person that was on my schedule this year that didn't show up, right? Or didn't convert to an IBA, right? And so finding a way to use your Calendly or Acuity or whatever the case might be, and keeping track of that, and then inputting it into, say, like the CRM, right? The CRM, you guys, is huge. If you're not, put CRM in the chat if you are using the CRM. If you are using it, I'm telling you guys, in the very beginning of using it and building it up and that sort of a deal, it's not going to generate a whole bunch, right? But if you start to do that now, and then 5-10 years from now, you have thousands of people in your CRM as clients, prospective recruits, whatever the case might be, and you send a blast email out to 1,000 people, you guys think you'll get a piece of business from that? Probably, right? So I definitely would encourage you guys to check out the CRM. Like I said, there's training available on it. I do trainings on Tuesday. They're not doing it next week. But treat this thing like a business, right? You have to, they made a really good point on the CRM training last week. They were like, if you went to open a business, right? Let's say you're going to go open a restaurant or a shoe store, whatever the case might be, any business that you can think of, right? If you were going to go open a business, you would not open that business unless you had some form of, something to keep track of your inventory, right? You're not just going to blindly open a business and then just start getting going. You're probably going to fail. Well, our CRM is what controls our inventory, right? Our inventory are people. And if we're just people, and everybody, and who knows where they're going or what's happening with them or whatever, especially if we're trying to really get this thing going and go fast, but we don't have an actual system in place, or we're not using our system that's free to us, that people spend lots and lots of money on to get. If we're not using that in order to have a structure for our inventory, what are we doing, right? We have it at our fingertips. It's huge. So just something to think about, you guys. Sorry for the mishap in between there. I don't know what's going on with my Zoom, but that's all I have. Hopefully those 2 scripts are helpful. Try to use them, and definitely start thinking about how you can better organize your inventory, right, of people as you go about your day. Start now in November and December with the new things you have coming in, right? And then maybe take a few minutes each day and kind of organize the old stuff, but at least get something, in order and structured for what you have new coming in. That way in 2025, you're ready. You've got something, everybody from January to December of next year goes through that properly, right? And you have you can tag different people. That way you can make different types of lists, right? Like we had a women in one last little thing. Yesterday there was a Women in Primerica training, and I was like, man, how cool would it be if I had just a list of all the female, people that I've ever recruited, right? I would just blast out a text to all of them, right? For this training. So hopefully that was a little helpful. Sorry, a little bit all over the place, but Dan, I will pass it over to you. Part-timers, if you want to go put it in the chat what you're closing today and how many people you'll have on training tomorrow. And like, please put it in the chat, y'all. We're gonna have to maybe start weeding out people, serious part-timers, right? And serious full-timers. So, all right, Dan, take it away.
All right, what's up, guys? Happy Monday or Monday. Oh my gosh, Thursday. Excited to hang out with you guys. Sorry, I don't know why I said Monday. I was typing something on my computer in the background, looking at it, and it said Monday. So sorry, I confused my brain. What are you looking for over there? It is Monday. It is a Monday, Thursday, that's for sure. And Taylor's making me do CrossFit, so every day's Monday, and I'm dying every day. Anyway, anyway, guys. So everyone, do me a favor, real quick. Go to the part-time Telegram. Everybody, go look at the part-time Telegram. I want you to type in the chat how many members of the part-timers Telegram are there in the Telegram chat. Just go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll wait. Go look at the part-time Telegram on your phone, and then put in the Zoom chat how many people are in here. There are a couple of you put it in Telegram. That's fine. There's 26 people, right? There's 26 people. Put in the Zoom chat how many people were on the part-timers call this morning. Oh, wait. How many people were on the part-timers call? 3? Not 3. More than 3. 13. Right? 13. So, and most of them were full-time people, right? Most of them were full-timers, people with docs, people that do this as their primary income source and not a secondary income source. And so, look, we gotta get on some of those people about being on or being not on. And listen, I am guilty of being a little bit, I don't want to say nice, that's not the right word. It almost hurts the environment letting people stay in the chat that aren't upholding the agreements that we've all agreed to. Right? Like we agreed to what for part-time? Set 2 a day, right? Yes or no? Everybody just put yes or no in the chat. We agreed to set 2 appointments a day as a part-timer. Yes or no? Yes, Jerome and Cass agreed as part-timers to set 2 appointments. Awesome. So yes, we agreed to set 2 appointments a day, right? We agreed to not missing meetings. Yes or no? Not missing the meetings, right? Yes or no? Right. And we agreed to posting in the Telegram when we set our appointments. How many of those things are still happening? Right? How many of you can honestly say that as a serious leader, part-timer, you're actually doing those things, right? Or as a full-timer, that you're actually doing the things that you said that you're going to be doing to make sure that you got to where you want to go here, right? So what I want to challenge all of you guys on, and I got a point, like if I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, like I'm at a point that I want to go talk to my new people, get them setting appointments and bring them up in this call, right? Because they're new people with markets that are more untapped, that are slightly more coachable, a little bit more excited, right? Because this isn't just the mundane Primerica. This is what I do for work. I get on the call and then I don't do anything the rest of the day long, right? Like I'm just telling you like how my brain works when we get on here, and it's like, all right, like what are we doing? Like, is this just like a little friend hangout, book report, like book club, or is this a call that you come to learn how to implement and get better? Right? Because at the end of the day, guys, like you can join 1,000 book clubs, you can do a million different things where you have your social circle. This, though we love you and we want you to be, our friend, and we want to get along and all that kind of stuff, like at the end of the day, I want you here because you're making money and you like what you're doing and you feel like you're a part of something. Like, I don't want you wasting your time. Right. And I certainly don't want to waste my time. And I'm not going to, I guess I will like assume that Jerome and Cass and Mel and Taylor also don't want to waste their time. Right. And so like, don't hear what I'm not saying here. I'm not saying that you are a waste of time. I'm not saying like nothing that you might interpret as negative is what I'm saying about you or about anyone on this call. But what I am saying is when you make a commitment, you have to uphold the commitment that you've made. Right? That commitment that you've made is to set 2 appointments a day, be on time, turn your camera on, right? Post in the chat when you set your appointments. And when you don't do those things, you prove to be untrustworthy, not just to yourself, but to everyone else on the call.
right? Like not just to me, I mean, I'm good. I can care less. Like I'm gonna say I can care less. I want you to be successful and I want you to uphold what you said. But at the end of the day, like I'm good. I'm gonna do what I need to do to make things happen for myself. I want you to have that same satisfaction of knowing that you can bank on yourself, David. Like Leah, I want you to be able to say, hey, you know what? If I said I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Right? I said I'm gonna go 10 by 10 this month. I'm gonna go 10 by 10 this month. Right? Like that's just you have to have that like internal grit. And let me give you like a very practical example. Like for us, like coming into this month, we're like 200 places out of winning Universal. Like I'll just be honest with you, like we were very far out of winning Universal. But I looked at the numbers. I looked at the numbers and I looked at the scores and I looked at the categories that I was competing in. And I told Taylor, I was like, we're not winning, but we will. Like we're not winning, but we will. And when I go and I look at the reports right now, we were 200 places, 150,000 points out of qualification for Universal. We are currently 600 points out of Universal. A month in 14 days, right? And like I'm not trying to brag. I'm just showing you guys what it looks like once you've just gotten this. Have y'all read the book Relentless? Right? You've all read, at least, okay, if you haven't read the book Relentless, I see like half of you shaking your head no, by Tim Grover. You should buy that book and, in my opinion, postpone every other book that you're reading and read that book.
Talk about the decision.
Right? Like, and what?
They also got my decision talk yesterday.
Oh, and Taylor said she talked to you guys about a decision yesterday. I heard like half of that. But honestly, guys, like, and this is just like me giving you just like my perspective, right? At the end of the day, like you can take what you want with this and you can do what you want to do with what I'm talking to you guys about this morning. And you can keep living the same old day over and over again, the same month, the same year over and over and over again, or you can choose to make a change, right? And in Tim Grover's book, Relentless, he talks about a cleaner, a closer, or I forget what the other one is, but just basically somebody that just exists, right? So a cooler, cleaner, and closer, right? And so let me give you just kind of those examples of those three different things if you've never heard this. So everybody type the word cooler in the chat, okay? A cooler is somebody who just exists. They're just kind of there. Like you can count on them for a recruit or maybe a policy. You know, you can count on them to be on the meeting. They're going to fill out their docs, right? But sometimes you don't know if they're real or not, right? They're just going to do what they need to do to like exist, right? And this is most players on most sports teams at every level. Right now, their skill level to be a cooler has to increase, right? Like you can't be a terrible college football player or high school football player, go to the NFL and be like, okay, like you're the better you get, the more you level up, Leah, in life and in business, the greater the output is going to need to be for you to be able to maintain that level. But let's just say in the base shop, you're a cooler when you're closing 1-2 sales a month. I don't care if it's a life app or a recruit or like you're just barely doing enough to even let your RVP know that you're still there, right? And these are players on the team where they get a tackle a game, right? They're on the field, like they make they get 6 or 7 points in an NBA game. Like at the end of the day, did that person make a huge difference in the game? No. But did they put points on the board? Yes. Did they participate in the team effort? Yes. Like they're still valuable and they're still needed, right? So don't hear me say that, like if that's you or if you identify yourself in this area right now, that you're not valuable, because you are. But these are just 3 categories, right? We talk about this all the time with could be players, and very important people or whatever it was. I forget the acronym right off the top of my head. But thank you for whoever, Mel, I see you typing in the chat. Thank you. Very nice people. There we go. Like it's the same 3 categories, right? Like you categorize yourself here, not me, by your production. So if you don't like being a cooler, then get off your booty and get to work, right? So if you're a cooler and you're only closing 1 thing a month or once a quarter or something like that, right? You're a very nice person. You're a cooler. You're just chilling. And then you got the closers, right? Like, and if you read the book or listen to the book, but he talks about how when he was working with Michael Jordan, you know, one night you'd be listening to ESPN and they'd be like, oh, this guy is such a closer. This guy's such a closer. Like he came out and he hit a couple threes and he closed it. And then the next night, like this guy's the ultimate closer. He closes and it's a different guy. And then the next night it's a different guy and a different guy. And every time, every game, there's a different closer, right? And at the end of the day, like every team has one or two closers, in my opinion. Someone that you can count on, take it to the bank that they're going to do what they say. They're going to make it happen. Right. But they're not the most consistent people. Right. And if I can just be blunt and transparent with you, every single one of you all, I would categorize as a cooler or a closer for the most part on this call. Right. You're either chilling and you're just kind of existing and you're here and we love you for being here, but get your booty to work. Right. If you're a closer, like, hey, maybe 1 month you got a 10 by 10 month, a 5 by 5 month, you crush it. And the next month, God only knows where you are. Right. And these are like closers do that, right? Like if you think about like, for those of you that like the NFL, like I would argue like Joe Burrow is a closer. Like he's good, but he's got nothing to show for. Right. Like he can put up some points at the end of the game and win, but they're 4-6, right? Or they're 3-7. They're not doing anything. No one really cares. And then guys, you have cleaners. Right, you got the cleaners, and Miguel Illich is a freaking cleaner in our business, right? He is wiping the floor with every single person under the sun right now. Oh, well, Dan, he's not number one in base shops. Well, he is, A, and B, if you go look at the top 10, he overrides like 4 of them. Right? Like that dude is crushing everyone. Like Michael Jordan, he's a cleaner, right? He'll just wipe the floor with you. Like it doesn't matter. He could be playing the worst team in the league and he's going to come out and put up 30, 40, 50 points. It doesn't matter. Right? When a cleaner is someone that you call when you're like in a time of distress. Right? When you're frustrated, you're like, damn, we got to have this. Like this has to happen for us. Right? And the best thing, Leah, in the whole world is when you know that you can call yourself and say, we got to freaking show up. And then you show up. Right? You're like, damn, we got to get to work. And then you get to work. Right. I've been talking for 6 months to the kids about going to Universal and Taylor about going to Universal. And if I can be frank with you, I haven't really been looking at the scoreboard as much as I normally do. And I logged on the other day, Cass. I was like, oh, let's see what place we're in. Like, what kind of room can we expect? I was like, oh, shit. I was like, we're nowhere near going. This was like maybe 3 weeks ago. And then, Leah, we just freaking popped off, right? All this, like, I mean, I'm at like 7 or 8 directs, like 9,000 in personal premium. And it's the 21st. Like I recruited a new couple last night. I'm recruiting a licensed agent here in an hour and a half. Like I already know I'm filling out the paperwork, right? Recruited another licensed agent 2 days ago. We have 2 new licenses in the base shop. Granted, those are not, I mean, they're my downlines, but they're not on my team. They're through one's Karen, one's Dana. But at the end of the day, like they're codes. It's 30,000 points. Right. I'm calling licensed people like it's going out of style, recruiting them, trying to get them in here. I think this month we have like 3 or 4 new licenses. People that are just dormant licenses. They're not doing anything. And they're parked at a different company. Aflac was one. Geico was another. Somebody worked at State Farm for 4 years, quit, got into something else. They have an active license. I was like, hey, just bring that sucker over here and then send me your referrals. Guess what? Appointed, sent me business yesterday. We got a life app. We're going to split with them tomorrow. Right? Like these things, John, happen when you can trust yourself to get to work. Right? When the only way that you can trust yourself is by putting in the work and the effort to get it done. Right? And your skill set is not going to be where you want it to be to get the result that you want to get when you first decide to get after it. John, you're going to have to put in so much work that you're going to question like, dude, is this even worth it? Right? But guess what? You're going to get the result. And for some of you, that needs to be a decision of saying, hey, it's November 21st. I'm getting out of this month with 2 new recruits. Like, I don't care where they come from, but it's just a gut level decision. Because some of you, like Leah, some people will have the tendency to say, all right, I'm at 0 by 0. I've done 0 by 0 the last 4 months, and I'm going to finish November 5 by 5. No, you're not. Like, and I'm not, listen, I'm all for the positivity, the big goals, big dreams. Listen, like I will not ever tell you not to dream big, but what I will tell you to do is you tell me 5 by 5. Do you believe you can do 5 by 5 in 10 days when you haven't done it in 100? I think if we're honest, I'm like way more of a realist than like a pie in the sky, big dream type of person. Like, is it realistic that you could become $1 million earner here in a few years? Yes. Are you going to become $1 million earner here in 3 or 4 years with the work ethic of any of us on this call? I would argue no. Right? I'm lumping myself into that batch of people, by the way. Like, so don't feel attacked. Like I'm attacking myself. Right? Like, and so I'm much more of a realist than like a pie in the sky type of person. But at the same token, it's possible, right? And that's what I love about Primerica is like, if you really want to get to work, like there's proof in the pudding across the company that you can do this, right? And who cares what your upline, sideline, downline is doing? Because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter at all. Right. And that's what I love about Primerica. So someone's going to hear that and be all mad and be like, oh, you're telling me I can't do this and not to dream big. No, I'm not telling you not to dream big. I'm telling you have a big goal, but have a goal that you actually believe you can do as well. Because something that I learned when I was working with Andy and he was really pushing my vision was having a really big goal is a good thing, but this is a byproduct of something that I learned by accident. Right. Something that I learned by accident was that if you set really big goals over and over and over again and you never hit them, even if you hit goals that are like, so if like my goal has been 100 by 100 since the day I understood what that meant. And I believe we could do it. Right. But that's been a goal that I've had since the day that we've met. And I set, that's my big pie in the sky. Like, damn, one day we're going to actually hit this goal. Right. But when I was in the base shop and when I was working and doing what I was doing with Andy, every month we missed that number. And every month I believed less and less that I'd be able to do it. And rather than have a minimum goal, I just had a big goal and shoot for the moon and you miss with the stars or whatever that stupid saying is, sure. But at the same time, like you have to deposit belief into your own bank that you can do things. So for some of you guys, listen, like if honesty circle, right? Circle of trust. And this doesn't leave the call, right? If you are 0 by 0 right now this month, personally, put me in the chat. I don't care if your downlines are doing something that you got 1,000 by 1,000 because your downlines decided to get to work. You personally, if you are 0 by 0 this month in personal, premium, sales, recruits, I don't care about investments, recruits and premium, 0 by 0. Okay. Those of you that are 0 by 0, I love you, but you got to get out of this month with something. Something. I don't care what it is. I do not care if it's a freaking child rider or if you recruit your partner or your mom for the 3rd time. It literally does. You need to put something on the scoreboard. Yes or yes. Like, and listen to me, John, if you're serious about this, you can do it today or tomorrow. Dude, I'm telling you, I was outside. You guys are going to laugh at this because this is such a Jerome thing. But I was outside of Walmart waiting for Taylor to come pick me or to drop off Axel the other day because we were going to do something. And I'm just making fun of Jerome because he sells life insurance at Walmart. He's the life insurance Walmart guy. But anyway, I was hanging outside of Walmart and I was literally waiting for Taylor and Axel to get there for, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 minutes. And the amount of people that walked by me and started talking to me was astonishing. I was like, oh crap, and as much as we joke about like go to Walmart and talk to people and like set up a table outside of Walmart, I guarantee you that if you put a little nice shirt on and you had a clipboard and you just kind of wandered around the parking lot, the strip mall that Walmart's in, and you're just out in front of stores and chilling, I assure you, you will get a ton of names and numbers if you make it your goal. Am I saying that that is a good, viable thing for you to do to like get things going? I mean, not necessarily, but Cass, it was so crazy. I was literally out there, like not even remote. I was like this on my phone, like literally not paying a single ounce of attention to anyone around me. Right. And this one lady walked up, she's like, oh, it's so warm out here today. I was like, cool. Like, what's up? How are you? And we talked for 5 minutes. And then another person came by, and we started talking to him and his son. People just say hello, right? Like now, if you're in Michigan, maybe not. People aren't very nice up there. But if you're in the South or South-ish, like, man, people like their life. So like, they'll talk to you. right? And so you start talking to people, and I promise you, if you just know, hey, what do you do for work? What are you doing here? Oh, tell me about your life. Tell me about your kid. Like if you like, some people will talk to you and some people won't. Who cares? But like you could go post up outside. If you don't have any appointments today, you go post up outside of Walmart as soon as we're done this call. And I promise you, you'll see enough people by the end of the day that you close something tomorrow. Now, do you talk to all those people? That's up to you. Right. And I'm not telling you to not focus on the main thing, the thing that you should be doing, hot, warm market. Right. But if you're really like sitting here with your arms crossed, all butt hurt, and you're like, I'm struggling. Right. Okay, then get to work. Taylor, Cass, I see you. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna address what Taylor just said. Taylor, it's cold for that for sure. One thing, I don't remember who said this to me, but one time we were talking about making calls on a Sunday. I think this might have been Jerome a couple of years ago on a Relentless call, honestly. But I remember we're making calls and we're talking about setting appointments on a Sunday. And when like you're setting appointments on a Sunday, and when someone, so like if I call Cass and I'm like, hey Cass, how you doing? It's Dan, blah, 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 blah. And it's a Sunday, and Cass is like, Dan, it's Sunday. Can you call me? You could be like, oh, sorry about that. I know, like they got me out here working on a Sunday. Right. Like, I'm just trying to make things happen on a Sunday. Like, I know, I'm sorry to bother you. Like, if you just kind of brush it off and like play a little bit of the sympathy card. So Taylor, you're like, it's cold out there. You go sit out there in like a freaking parka with a clipboard and your gloves and your like pencils, and you're cold and you're walking around talking. People are going to feel bad for you. Like, what are you doing out here in the snow? I don't know. They got me out here getting numbers, just looking to see if anybody's looking for opportunities. Hey, one thing that Harvey said at a builder school that I loved, and then Cass, I'll come to you, this ties into this, is you could say something along the lines of like, hey, my regional vice president put me in front of this Walmart to make sure everybody coming here has the best life insurance that they could possibly have and their family was protected. Did someone talk to you yet? As people are walking up to you, John, you're like, hey, John, or you don't know his name, but hey, sir, can I ask you a question? Have you talked to anybody yet? Like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yeah, my office assigned me, like my regional vice president down in the sunshine in Florida assigned me to this freezing cold, snowy Walmart parking lot to make sure that everybody that walked in here today was covered with the best life insurance. Has someone talked with you yet? Yes. Awesome. They're lying. No, great. Let me get your name and number. I'll give you a call. We'll get an appointment scheduled, right? For your free review. Like, well, Taylor, not if you dress up. Right? Not if you look the part. If you showed up looking homeless, they might think you're homeless. But if you dressed up, if you took time to get yourself ready, right? You look professional. You looked like somebody that was assigned to that thing, to do that thing. If you looked like what you're telling them you are. Now, if you're holding up a cardboard sign saying, let me help you with your life insurance, homeless veteran, like, yeah, they're probably not going to listen to what you're saying. Right? So just like, you got to look the part though. Right. Anyway, Cass, what were you going to say? Sorry, that derailed. What were you saying?
No, that's so good. I think that we all should go out and do that like this weekend. But it was kind of along the same lines. Like I was outside yesterday I was actually at Walmart as well. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, because I have a goal for this month, and if I don't attain that goal, I have to get a part-time job. And I'm like, so I really gotta get this thing going. I was at Walmart yesterday too. So but anyway, I'm like, well, I could just start walking up to literally random people just everywhere and say something, and maybe you can help me like formulate this, but say something like, hey, something, would you be open to taking 2 minutes to see if I can save you some money on your life insurance or something like that? And like ask them what they have, how much do they pay, pull up a quick quote. If I can save you money, we'll, set up an appointment or, something like that. If you went and asked 100 people in a day to do that, you'd probably sell a life policy. Like, boom, you made minimum like 200, 300 bucks that day.
Yeah. If you like, guys, listen, like what Cass is saying with that is so like, it's just a volume business.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, any sales, I literally don't care what you're selling. It could be literally anything. It's just volume. It's just volume. And you can make the argument of like, oh, well, you got to have good service. And if you have good service, then you need less volume. True, because you'll get better referrals. But if you're like, Dan, I can't get it going right now, then you need to go talk to a metric poop ton of people, right? Like as many people as you possibly can speak to in the next 24 to 48 hours. And every possible objection, reason not to do it that you could possibly come up to, I promise you, I have a different way of thinking about it. That if you're struggling with something right now and you're like, Dan, I can't do it, like what Taylor said. But Taylor, I'm not trying to pick on you, but like Taylor said, everybody's going to assume I'm homeless. Well, God bless the people that think you're homeless. But if you dressed up and you looked really nice and you invested $10 at Office Max into like a nice binder clipboard thing and a good pen and some like nice lined paper, right? Some people might think you're homeless and they're idiots. Like go talk to the people that don't think that, because there will be a lot of people like myself. If I see you in sweats and a beanie and like, you're looking like maybe you are, maybe you're not, I might not stop and talk to you. But if you're all dressed up and you got a nice jacket on and nice pants and like you look the part, I'll give you time of day. Maybe not a lot of time, depending on what it is, but I'd at least hear you out. And I think most of you would be the same. Yeah, you could buy some $10 brochures from PO. Or 10-cent brochures. That's a great idea. Like if you invested $10 into How Money Works books or the Blue Page or one of the sales brochures, and you put it inside of a nice like leather bound book, right? Like Ron Burgundy style, but like a leather bound like portfolio and clip, right? Like, and you're just kind of walking around, like you could go in there like that and walk around Walmart all day long in a suit. And eventually someone's going to kick you out and then go to the next one, go to Target, go to Meijer, go to Kroger, and just wander around. Like, who cares? And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to see people in my town that know me. Then go to the next freaking town over. Well, I live in the middle of nowhere. Great, drive an hour and go to a different city. You'll never see any of those people again. So who gives a rip what they think about you? Right? Like, it's at the end, guys, listen, at the end of the day, it is 100% up to you to make this happen. And like you're stuck in your stinking thinking, like your mentality of like, oh, I'm just frustrated, I can't make it happen, this blah 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 blah, all these different excuses. Like you just need to sometimes call somebody that thinks differently than you and let them like check your bull crap at the door. Elaborate reasons, right? Excuses. That's so good. Like it takes, guys, look, I understand what I'm talking about is by no means what you were sold when you got on your recruit appointment. But if you don't have a hot market, or you burnt through your hot market, or you aren't cultivating a hot market, then you have to start somewhere or you're eventually going to fizzle out. It is what it is. Like, yeah, am I wrong? Cass, Jerome, am I wrong? You need 5 to stay alive. You might have a Walmart, Target, Kroger, Starbucks, and Rite Aid, right, for right now. And that's fine. Right? Like, that's okay. Stop getting butthurt. Oh, well, Andy built his business on Facebook. Cool. He's $1 million earner who makes $800,000 a year now because he didn't have a good system in place. And that's decreasing every month. I'll say it. I don't care. That's why, frankly, why we've reevaluated the way we're doing our business. Because I don't ever want to hit a milestone and go backwards again. Like, you need 5 to stay alive. I do not care what those 5 are. Like you should have social media. How many of you sent 50 messages? How many of you sent 10 messages every day this month? Every single day, even Sunday. A few of you, Calvin, Jerome, I have. Outside of 2 or 3 people, right? Like, and again, guys, I'm not trying to bust your balls. Like, I'm really not. Like, I'm just trying to get you to recognize the difference, the gap between where you are and where you want to go. Right? The gap between where you are and where you want to go, it's really not that big, but you look at it from the floor instead of from standing tall and doing what you need to do every day. Does that make sense? Some of you look confused. Let me draw that for you really fast. This might actually help you. Of all the things that I'll say to you today, this might be helpful, and then I'll do the docs. So you all understand how like vantage points work, sort of, kind of, right? The higher you are, the shorter away things look from you. Like when you're up on a plane, if you're up on a plane and you're looking out, it doesn't look that far away. But if you're on the ground, it's an eternity, right? So like you are here. You're hovering, John, but that's fine. And your goals Oh my gosh. I'm like finger drawing on my stupid MacBook mouse pad. So leave me alone. So your goals are over here, right? John, when you stack up all the things that you need to do, you elevate your vantage point, and that goal doesn't look as far away, right? Because you can see from where you are that, oh, it's just right there. And like this, all these spikes down here, I can jump across this gap. But if you're not doing anything and you're chilling down here and you're looking across this gap, it looks like it's far away. You're like, man, I can never get there. Right. And you gotta figure, like, you just have to understand that every time you send a message, every time you make a call, every time you call a client, every time you get a name and number, you start building this bridge with every name and number, every client, every recruit that you have. Right. And guess what? Sometimes they fall off and they fall down into this little pit here. But at the end of the day, if you treat them good and you respect them, eventually you'll have just a solid ground that you can walk across because you've taken time to build a bridge. And as that bridge falls down, you start to get a base of things right in here that eventually over time, there is no gap anymore. Why? Because you've paid the price. You've done what you need to do. You have a walkway to your goal. Right? If you look, I guarantee you, if you look at any $1 million earner, I don't care who it is, I guarantee you that they have thousands of recruits and thousands of people that have quit and a couple hundred that didn't. And at the end of the day, you can be like, well, Dan, I don't want to churn through people. You're not churning through people. You're giving them the opportunity. You're training them just like everybody else. Listen, if any one of you wanted to be like, well, Dan didn't train me. Well, you didn't show up. Right? Like you stop calling, you stop producing, you stop getting on the calls, you stop filling out your docs. Like that's just that at the end of the day, that is what it is. And I just like, we love you guys. We want you guys to win. Like, and I know that I'm like the brash, aggressive, like stab you type of person, but I stab you with love, right? like I'm trying to get you to understand. I'm trying to be the one that'll tell you the things that you don't necessarily like to hear, but you need to hear. Right? If you were doing something that was slowly killing you day after day and you went to your doctor and they never told you, you'd be like, this doctor sucks. I need a new doctor. Right? Like if you were doing something that was going to cause you to eventually burn your bridges, piss off your spouse, lose a bunch of money, or not lose a bunch of money, but waste a bunch of time, not make any money. Right? Like you would eventually get burnt out, not like Primerica. If I didn't tell you that, I would feel like I was doing you a disservice. Right? Because at the end of the day, like Leah, you could hang out here for 3 years, never make any money. And slowly over time, the resentment, not towards you, but towards Primerica, right? Towards Cass, towards me. Well, then, I mean, I'm not trying to project this on you, but I just think this is just reality. It'll eventually start to build up to the point that you're like, I don't want to answer when Cass or Jerome or Dan calls because it reminds me of Primerica. And Primerica didn't work for me. Primerica did not work for you. You just didn't work for Primerica. You didn't do what you needed to do. You didn't set your appointments. You didn't make your calls. I'm not trying to pick on you, Leah, but this is just for anyone. Right? Like the number one thing I've noticed, like the number one thing in anyone that's ever quit our Primerica, like I'm not talking for Jerome or Cass here, I'm talking for me, that's ever quit our Primerica business, they weren't consistent long enough. Right? Look, I understand the style of business that I naturally gravitate towards teaching you. High activity for a moderate amount of time, and you'll have a solid base that you can then coast on and make $30,000 to $50,000 a year. Yes or no, Cass? Like that's right around where I think where your cash flow is. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You don't have to say yes or no, but I believe you're right around in that 50,000-ish area. And that's great. Why? High activity, get it going, coast for a little while. And that's okay. That's great. Like I'm not, please, Cass, don't hear that the wrong way. Like, and I do the same thing, Leah, high activity, 30 to 60 days, 90 days, coast for 90 days to 6 months. Do it again. Every time I do that, we churn out a new leader. Right? One time, Jerome called me and said, hey, I got this girl in Tampa. I want to network to you. Can you work with her? And one of those people was Cass. I didn't recruit Cass, but she came into our business. And so that period of time, I didn't really focus on recruiting a lot of people because Cass was in the office every day. And so we went to work. And at the end of the day, like I did not run very many appointments for Cass, but I provided as much help and as much guidance for her and her people as I possibly could. And then we went in, we recruited somebody else, right? And we got Kelly Ebscorn, who none of you know, who came Angela Pangborn, who none of you know. Well, a few of you know, right? And these people just, they show up and they quit. They don't do it long enough. Josh Gillespie, crushing it, making 5-10 grand a month for 2 or 3 months. Quits. Why? It's work. He complains on Facebook almost every day about having to drive his truck all day long if you guys are still friends with him. I don't feel bad at all, not even a little bit. No, Leah, I tried the business, it doesn't work for me. No, it didn't not work for you. You weren't committed. Like you didn't show up all the time. Guys, look, like I love you guys and I want you guys to win. And like I hate getting on here and saying the same damn thing over and over again, but until you do something, there's nothing to coach. Right? Like I can't like if I'm your driving instructor, what I'm telling you to do right now is put your keys in the ignition and turn on the damn engine. Like that's it. Like outside. I'm not gonna philosophy major you into what the heck to do once the car turns on. Who knows? Is it gonna start? We don't even know that. Right? You got to get to work. I love you guys. Get after it. Part-timers, those of you that are still here, please go put in the Telegram if you didn't already. I know some of you already did, so thank you for that. Please go put in the Telegram, what are you closing today and what will you set today? And also put in the Telegram when you do set appointments, please. That's part of what you're supposed to do. Put in there what you do when you do set appointments. I forgot apparently to fill out my docs. I know I filled it out. I must not have hit submit on my phone. My bad. I have 4 recruits and a KT today and 2 orientations. So that's exciting. I got an in-person KT out of Dunkin' Donuts today, guys. Let's see how this goes. It's gonna be interesting. Calvin, 26. Calvin and Sierra, 26. Great jump yesterday, guys. What do you got?
We have all recruiting appointments today. I want to say there's 9 falling off. Gonna try to replace that and maintain where we're sitting at.
Nice. You guys got 9 today. You get your 1 done for the month. You can hit your goal for the month today. Get something done today out of those 9. All right. Jerome, 11.
Yep, I got 1 by 0 today, and then I'm finishing up a rollover, and got a couple orientations. Then I'll be back up today.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's see. Dana, 10. Dana and Malcolm, 10.
Finally closing a COD and then have a recruit tonight. I'm gonna try to maintain. I want to get up to 15.
You said you're delivering that COD today, or you're filling out a life app?
No, or delivering it. Like we're all done. We just need her to sign the DocuSign and then get it all squared away.
Sweet, good job. Cass, 9.
I got a coaching call and a carry back today.
All right, good work. Leah, 7.
I just have a coaching call today and my SIE in the morning.
Woo! Tomorrow morning, right?
Well, I guess it'd be afternoon. Sorry. It's at
You have
noon
your
my
SI
time, so 2 your time
You have your SIE today.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, got you.
I'm
All
just
right.
excited.
Lock in on studying today. Like I don't set your 2 appointments and then nothing else. Just study all day long. Just
Yeah, I'm
crush.
just gonna take several practice exams.
Yep, perfect. And one thing I would tell you to do is, and this goes for any of you guys when you're getting ready to take your test. One thing that I did was I took quizzes with the answers on the sections that I was not sure of. So like my worst sections, I took quizzes with answers on, so that way I could take it, and if I got it wrong, I could see right away why. Just for my bad sections, but for your sections that you're like doing pretty good in, keep the thing on there so you don't rely on that to be there. But like your bad sections, that helped me a ton. That might not help you. If it doesn't, then don't do it. But that helped me a lot. Like my last couple of days. So, and Karen.
Still not sure I'm up there. I have a carry back and an appointment and a meeting with a new recruit, and working to get back to 10. And I'm at 7 on the docs, by the way. It just didn't show up again.
All right. So that'd be 72 and I'm at 57, I think. So we're at like 129. Hey, let's make a big push, guys. Big push into the weekend. Let's get up around 150. I'd love to be, so like Tuesday, Wednesday next week, guys, as we head into Thanksgiving, like it's going to be really easy for you to let your docs drop. And that starts, I mean, frankly, today. The next 7 days from now is Thanksgiving. So like you have a choice to either have low docs going into Thanksgiving, or you can be intentional and know that people have Wednesday off, Thursday off, and Friday off, and you can schedule some time around there. Right? Black Friday, everybody's spending money. Why not spend it with you? Right? Why not? Like, honestly, like, you could make a post, hey, Black Friday sale, free financial needs analysis, like free budgets, like whatever. Like, you do any of those things to kind of get things rocking and rolling, guys. So anyhow, have an amazing day, guys. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.